Hi, I'm Suki.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Suki.
What's up?
We're very popular. I'm feeling very proud of us today.
That's so good. I'm happy to hear that. You're just bragging to me about all our downloads.
I know. It's pretty amazing to me that anyone is listening. But, you know, you knew.
We knew. You knew too.
It's very sweet.
That there were enough weirdos out there that would be interested in hearing what we have to say.
Totally.
Just like morbid curiosity.
And also just knowing that other people are going through, you know, the weird things and trying to connect into themselves and feel better about anything. It feels nice.
I realized some things since the last time we recorded. Joe Dispenza actually, after he got hit by a car while he was in a race, healed his spine with his brain in 4 months. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the real timeline. I was guessing it was a year. We're coming with facts. B number 2. Eckhart's last name is pronounced Tolle, which I don't approve of. So I don't either. So I call it Tolle. Referring to him as Eckhart only. So Eckhart Tolle is German.
Tolle.
And so he's German. And he's basically like the Werner Herzog of the soul. I
like that.
I started listening to a little bit of, is it Live in the Now or Life is Now or The Power of Now?
Power of Now, yeah.
I started listening to a little bit of it because I wanted to see if I could hear his voice. And it really was like listening to a Werner Herzog documentary about your brain.
That's awesome.
It was very funny. But he's German. He's not American. And he still has a beard only under his chin.
This is another thing that's unacceptable. But if I don't look at him, I still think his words are incredible. And his ideas are amazing. And he still changes my brain.
If there's anything that he's taught us, it's that we are not the exterior that we make up to represent ourselves. We're learning how to watch the thinker. But actually, I have basically been reading The Power of Now with a highlighter. And I have some quotes. But it is really incredible. I texted my friend yesterday and asked her if she has read it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I have read that book once a year, every year for 10 years.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, actually, that's awesome. I could see myself doing it, too. Because one, it's kind of
refresh.
Yeah, it's a bit much to absorb all at once. But I have found myself laughing at my own thoughts. Okay, here's the thing that really blows my mind about it. About observing the thinker in your head that's not actually you. It's just a mechanism of your body.
Right. Let's hold on really quick. Let's just start right there, because most people have never even considered that the voice that's in your head isn't, how is it not you? Like, what the fuck is it? Who is it? Because it's telling you terrible things. So is it actually you? What is your mind?
It also tells you funny and bizarre and
totally, but
interesting things.
But what is that? What is that constant jibber jabber that's happening? It's so bizarre. And so what we're talking about is being able to, how do you step out kind of and just allow that to talk and move and just watch what it does and says and thinks. And then you're like, what are you talking about? It's wild, but it's it's really hilarious.
Yeah. So since starting to read it, as much as I can remember to do, I'm stepping away from it. And it is really funny. And he explains that once you realize this in the beginning, you really only get like seconds at a time of peace from it. But those seconds of living in the present moment are really beautiful and liberating. But here's the thing that I was going to say that was really enlightening was that, time is a man-made, I'll call it a problem. And okay, so he talks about thinking, and it's the book is interesting because it like goes in a question and answer format. So it'll be like an italicized quote, like, sure, I can understand this, but da 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 da, and it'll be like a questioner's voice. And he laid out the fact that, like, sure, the way that we as humans think has differentiated us from other animal species, but it does not make us better. It's certainly complicated things and made things very complex, and it's also ruined the planet.
But it ruined the planet.
Yeah. Well, humans ruined the planet. Yeah. No other animals were capable of doing what we're doing.
Nope.
So, but here's the thing. He presents thinking not as the height of evolutionary development that makes us stand out from all other animal species, but just that. It is an evolutionary characteristic, and one that is not
ideal,
and it's not the end of the process. And it's something that, as we evolve, will go away.
God, I hope so.
Because if there's anything that I know about, like, the next evolution of this species, is that we fucking get psychic.
Word.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, God, I hope so. Or maybe we return back to being psychic. I don't know. Like, didn't we used to be much more in touch with our connection to everything, which I think is part of being psychic? I think our separation that we created from the natural world, I think our separation as humans from the natural world, the world was just, it's a gift to us to totally fuck up. That separated us from being in sync with being able to hear and listen to so many things and to watch and observe. And I think so much of becoming psychic has to do with being open to what we can see and hear as patterns. And do you know what I mean? Like, what comes in a different way than just, ABC 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that it means, I guess, that there's more possibility. Like, when there was more possibility, I wonder if we felt more connected into what I think you and I would call, like, higher power or source.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the fact that the more connected a human being was to nature and the land, the more connected with nature spirits, all sorts of spirits, in fact.
Yeah.
They were. But I was kind of more referring to not a return to what we, like, our ancestors, like, pillaged.
Oh, no, yeah.
But more of, like, the next evolution of the species.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of becomes much more telepathic.
That would be amazing.
Like, I mean, we won't experience it, but I have been
Suki.
told a million times that we've just become, like, light bodies.
While we're alive?
No.
No, not in this lifetime.
No.
But that would, the whole idea of trying to imagine anything beyond 25 years from now is insane to me. I have no idea what this planet's going to be. And I don't know how. I mean, also then you bring in science fiction, and there's so many incredible ideas in science fiction and technology of what can occur so that we're constantly in this state of existing and also not existing. I don't know. I like the idea that we evolve to a more telepathic, psychic, connected, because if it's like that, that feels like there's more of a oneness and there's more respect for everyone. if we all know that we're all
We go back to knowing that we're one.
right, if we can do that, then everything's a-okay. We're going to take care of each other. But
that's why I like how old Eckhart explains that, like, it's a mistake to think that our human capacity to think is the coolest thing.
totally.
Because it's created every problem.
We've thought of some good things too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what would be so wrong if we just stayed connected to the earth?
I'm into it.
So, the idea about living in the now is really interesting because you don't realize that you're not doing it until you dig into it. And I guarantee that most of us have spent most of our lives just either living, regretting the past, and or living for the future. And just taking occasional minutes where you're like, I'm here. This is all that there will ever actually be.
Yep.
The future doesn't exist. It's actually incredible.
I used to do a meditation of being in the now, where, like, if I had to do a chore, which is when we will spend lots of our times thinking about what we should be doing, what we could be doing, what we would have done, have those conversations in the past. And I would basically, like, if I'm washing the dishes, I would literally say to myself in my head, like, the water is pouring over the plate and I'm taking the sponge with soap on it and I'm rubbing it over the plate and washing off the food. I'm now rinsing it and I'm putting it on the drying rack. And, like, I would just go through every single thing that I was doing to stay within that complete moment. And it helped me do all of the things I had to do.
Yeah. And it also makes life better.
It stopped anxiety. I mean, it did. It just stopped anxiety because when you're doing the stuff you have to be doing and your mind is going, it's creating all of this anxiety that doesn't actually need to exist.
Yeah. I'm going to just read a little quote. He says, or passage, how does this mind pattern operate in your life? Are you always trying to get somewhere other than where you are? Is most of your doing just a means to an end? Oh man, if I could just do it in the Werner Herzog accent. I want to. It's one I can't do. Is fulfillment always just around the corner or confined to short-lived pleasures such as sex, food, drink, drugs, or thrills and excitement?
Yes.
Are you always focused on becoming, achieving, and attaining? Or alternatively, chasing some new thrill or pleasure? Do you believe that if you acquire more things, you will become more fulfilled, good enough, or psychologically complete? Are you waiting for a man or a woman to give you meaning to your life?
Hell yes.
I mean, most human beings can say yes to all of that all the time. And okay, so I went to my annual doctor's visit yesterday. So my nurse practitioner is amazing. And she was just going through basically my whole history since I've known her and just checking and asking me questions. And she was like, how's your stress? And I was like, good. And I was like, well, I'm really busy, but I'm good. And then she read a quote from me from a year and a half or 2 years ago. And I was like, holy shit, who is that person?
Why? What was it?
It said, I guess we were talking about stress. And she asked me what it was attributed to. And I said, well, probably just my pathological desire to achieve. I laughed a lot. That wasn't the exact quote.
No, but it's good. I like it.
But it was yeah, actually, shit. I've been actually slowly learning to live in the now, even before I started reading this book. This is just giving me better tools because all of this spirituality bullcrap, it already started expanding that for me.
Yeah.
The meditating obviously changes a lot for people. And I was just like, yeah, everything's chill. I'm acutely aware of the fact that whatever I aspire to achieve, I don't know, in a way, the greatest achievement is really just learning how to appreciate right this second.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing that. Like, I very much fill my days with gratitude.
Two things. One is when you came home from ayahuasca. Actually, I think we talked while you were in Costa Rica.
Yeah, because you were like, you got the wrong name.
I remember you having this insane, beautiful realization about the amount of time and thought you put into work. The other thing, number two, I loved it when we came over to your house for dinner and you have everyone say what they're thankful for.
Oh, yeah.
That's so lovely. You know, I think probably a bunch of people maybe still do that, but it's awesome. Like, I really liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm pulling all the weight, though. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, okay, last night I was like, okay, guys, if I'm going to friggin' roast a chicken, you got to take your turn. You have to say what you're grateful for, because I know this. Because sometimes I feel like I'm just doing the list and they're like, okay. But anyway, yeah, I think that is good, and that really helps everyone. I don't remember feeling like on that trip that I regretted exposing them to stress from work, but that could very well be possible that I said that. But the one thing, though, was really much I took away. None of what I'm doing matters. And I say that with reverence. Like, I think that's a huge realization. It doesn't mean I don't want to do it anymore, like do the work that I'm trying to do, but just realizing like, oh, all I want to do is go home and fly a kite with my kids, because that's actually what matters. And I just feel really fortunate to be realizing this while they're little.
Yeah.
But just hearing a quote from myself like that was really well timed, because I was like, oh my God. But check this out, though. In regard to like a manifestation, I've always felt like I feel like there's this huge element of living in the present moment that really helps with that, because manifestation is really only the practice of creating energetic pathways, right? Like almost like creating an imprint so that something that you want to happen can happen. But I think that there's something to the part of it where you need to get out of the fucking way. If I want Sparrow for Everyone to achieve so much that I want it to be all of these things for me and fulfill me in all of these ways, which I think I've made the mistake of doing. It is my artistic outlet, and it is my social outlet, and it is my way to feel like I've achieved something, like all of this, right? I think we do this. We do this with our careers. We do it with our hobbies. If we're not living in the present moment, we need to create something to make us who we are. And so realizing that, almost like getting out of the way of it and just letting it be what it's going to be, is a form of manifestation in itself.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that experience where you just step to the side and things fall into place?
Oh my God, it happens all the time. I mean, when I say I sort of feel like I'm a marionette, or like I'm just that's what it is. I'm just allowing. And then maybe I have to pause. And sometimes it feels like being on a fucking conveyor belt. And you're like, don't know where this is going. But if I felt like I wasn't taking charge in my life, and I was like, oh, no, this is how I take charge, I guess, is by allowing things to enter. And then I still have free will to make choice. Like I could have told you, no, I don't want to do a podcast. But
yeah.
What'd you say?
I could have told my guides no.
Right. I mean, right. It's like one of those things is like, it just felt so absolutely correct to do in the weirdest way of like, yeah, obviously we should do that.
Yeah. Makes no sense, but all the sense.
But all the sense. And that's, yeah. So this is actually when I get into trouble with stress. So I get into trouble when there are a bunch of things in the air, or like my conveyor belt is moving towards a bunch of objects. And I'm like, what are those? Am I going to hit those? Is that what's happening? When I'm not positive the order in which things are going to come or how they're going to open and unravel, even though, you know, it's like when you know that a plan is going to start taking shape, but you don't know how. And you just have to wait. And sometimes that is when I start feeling stress. And I have to remember, just breathe and be present and wash those dishes. Because it's all showing up. It's all showing up. There is nothing that I can do to speed the process of the universe up. So just do the dishes and then fold the laundry and then record a podcast with Suki and then pack your clothes to go to New York and
Yeah, it's weird. And it's also kind of realizing or deciding that you need to allow things to happen isn't a completely passive thing. Like it takes a great amount of understanding to get there.
Allowing also, well, means that, yeah, you have to kind of take a step back for it to occur. But also there's something in it that has to do with giving yourself permission, which I think is equally as hard for us to do. Give yourself permission to take a pause and allow something to be gifted to you. A lot of people have to give themselves I mean, like, I actually hear this all the time with doing readings, is that I'm basically giving people permission to do the things that they want or to lean into what feels like an obvious thing but goes against what maybe other people want for them or what society says they should be doing. And it's like, give yourself permission to know what you need, or give yourself permission to rest. I think we often have to give ourselves permission to allow things to come to us, as opposed to thinking we constantly have to move through the brick wall.
Yeah. I feel like that was me for a long time. Just like push, 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 push.
Me too.
And then now suddenly I'm just like, I'm here. I've arrived.
And I brought my cool stuff with me.
Not arrived in the sense that like I've reached the peak.
No, of course not.
But just like every morning when I wake up, wherever you go, there you are. But it's just learning to not live in the past or the future seems like it would be so simple, but it is a strange concept. Oh, can I completely change the subject?
Word.
I'm getting psychic news.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about how I decided to do my weird brand of energy work on other people to test it out.
Yeah.
For funskies. So I seemed like this was like a safe bet. So I decided to do energy work on Robert, my husband, in the way that I do it on myself. So I had him lay down. He definitely didn't need to be in the room, but whatever. I laid down next to him and did it almost as if I was projecting myself. I just did him. And it was crazy because it was really different. I went into his root chakra and I could smell it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't.
No, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, yeah.
Like the smell but not smell kind of thing. It was like, it wasn't like there was something in front of my nose that I was smelling, but it was like I could smell it in my brain or something. So it was like this musty, earthy, damp, rooted.
Yeah.
It had roots coming out of it to the point where it was almost kind of stuck where it was because it was like embedded with roots coming out of it. And it was wild. And I just was like, tried to just like spin it and move energy and clear and whatever, just put some positive energy in there. And then I went to his, I will certainly get permission to put this on air.
Yes.
I went to his sacral chakra, and this is so weird because I don't have any context for this, but I saw a baseball and I was like, oh, okay, there's a baseball. And like your dad's stuff is in here. And that's like all I got. But it was like, what the heck? And then I just did like energy clearing. Were there any other details? He got a cold the next day.
Weird.
Like, did I do that to you? Sorry. So don't let me do energy work on you, anyone.
That is not the answer.
I know. But check this out. I did it again the following week or a few days later. And I'm just going to find this message that I texted to my sister because I said, I just did a chakra sesh on Robert and he fell asleep a little. When I was done, he said, it's funny. I went way up in space. And I was like, huh? And he casually said, yeah, I shot way up in space super fast and was looking down at Earth. And I was like, what the fuck? But it's funny because that's exactly where I do my meditations. And he doesn't know that. I have myself and his energy body way up in space looking down at Earth.
Really?
And I didn't tell him. And it was like, oh my God, did his consciousness just shoot up and join me? But the way he described it was very much like exactly what people describe when they're astral traveling or just raising their consciousness. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And then the one final thing was Sai knew that I did that with Robert. So he was like, I was putting him to bed and he was like, I want you to do me. And I was like, okay. So I didn't think I was going to go and go in his chakras or anything. So, but I just kind of looked at his energy body and right away I saw this crazy, beautiful white and pale blue sparkling body of energy. And it was like sparking. And I almost laughed. I was like, what the hell? And then I just kind of like sent him some love and told him about it. And then he went to bed.
That's amazing.
Pretty weird, right?
I mean, no.
So now what?
Well, it just keeps going. I keep thinking you should probably do a session on me.
I know. I want to do one on someone that I don't. Do you ever have the worry if you do it on people that you know that you'll just like, it'll be informed by what you know about them?
Indeed. But it's just not how it goes.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
I mean, you got a baseball and you don't know what that is. I have an idea.
Yeah, I'm like, but why would I possibly? I mean, I could make guesses, but the guesses would come after seeing the baseball.
Word.
I wasn't having those thoughts. I wasn't thinking like, oh, there's probably some childhood baseball situation, like in this guy.
Nope.
And the sparking, every time I see something that is completely out of left field, it's very validating because it's like,
I didn't put that there.
Thought of this
right.
Yeah.
No, like, that's why I think you should. I think you should do a session on me.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it would be at this stage of me, it would be very much just like me observing, but it might be good. I mean, I definitely think we should. Okay, but wait, can you tell me? I want advice because, people that are listening also want advice. I'm sure there are other people that are seeing baseballs in their husband's solar chakra, solar plexus, yes, and they want to know like what their next step should be.
Right. I would say the next step is to go back in and bring your monk with you and ask for one of Robert's guides to show up.
Oh, I forgot. There was.
You're like, I did that.
Yeah. I was in. I need to keep a diary. I was in one of his chakras, and I was in a hand-holding circle with like 8 people.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. So there were. He's got some people for sure.
Talk to those dudes.
I should just like ask them questions.
So when I'm working on people, I will call my guides in to help, and then I will call in their spirit body to see if they have any information that their spirit body.
What do you mean?
It's like their like soul energy or whatever.
Higher self?
Yeah. Like their spirit body, their guides to come in and help me out.
Okay, wait, I've never heard you use the word spirit body. Like, yeah, I call in their guides. Is that a Claire thing, or is that like something people say?
I think people probably say it, but to me, I guess it's
I've never heard it.
It's their higher self, or I guess like I'm working on someone and I don't want to talk to their consciousness. I want to talk to their higher consciousness.
Yeah, you don't want their thoughts.
Right. So it's like that. Totally. So like I called that in, and it usually shows me if they're feeling depleted, or some little details that might be going on, or they'll say something. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just try talking, finding out more information.
Okay. So if
you can also do the exact same thing. You can go into his root chakra every single time, and there will be something different, and you will be clearing more and more. And you can just keep going and seeing what's up.
Okay, is there like a limit in energy work? Because I remember once you said that you were doing work on someone and you were like, when should we do this again? And they were like, not before 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Where I said that to them, like not before 2 weeks.
No. Guide said that to you. Oh,
yeah, word. Yes. I guess this is one of the reasons why I feel like being connected into something so that you can hear. But like, I think also like when I'm working on somebody, it will kick me off if I'm, their energy will kick me away from it when I'm done.
You cut off your sentence before. You said, so you can hear.
Oh no, there wasn't the rest of the sentence. It's just so you can hear.
I know, but what
it's a hearing of, it's the hearing of the messages of the body, hearing the messages of the spirit. You're working on somebody. It's like I worked on Patty in her guides. I heard, her guides, heard in my, not with my audible ears, but her guides were like, this isn't for you, get out. And I bolted. Pretty much every time I'm working on somebody, I will try and keep going, and the body will just be like, no, you're done. No, you're done. No, you're done. And that's when I know I'm done.
So that makes me think that like it's feasible to think that someone could be doing energy work and not be able to receive those messages, and
you better believe it. Right. This goes back into like the ethics question stuff of like, do you know that are you positive of the boundaries that you have? I also think it's really important to talk to the person that you're working on. My body is so sensitive. If people work too much on me, it will just wreck me for days. Like I will have no energy, or my body it's like jello. And I've had practitioners get pissed at me when I'm like, we have to be done. I just hit the limit. Like, because I now know exactly what that feels like when I'm like, I'm full. Like no more transformation can happen. This is it. This is all I can handle. And I've had people get pissed at me. Like, who are you to tell me when my medicine is done? I'm like, I'm the one to tell you. And I feel the same way with, be aware of your body and how it feels inside. If it doesn't feel good, be done. Or if you're like, I'm about to feel uncomfortable, then stop it and talk about it. With you going in, the thing is that you are simply going in with so much love. That's your intention, is like, I want him to feel amazing, and I want to test my psychic ability and healing ability here. But you're just going in with love and sending that, and asking, is there anything I can get rid of, and then getting rid of it. It's like all of those roots, you didn't chop them down. You didn't cause damage. You were just in there. So I think it's one of those things of like, I think going in and looking around, also, truth be told, if Robert's energy body was like, this is too frequent, Robert would just be like, no, I don't want to. He wouldn't know why necessarily. But I could see him just being like, no.
Yeah. Like he would know not to pursue it.
Yeah. Not necessarily why, like he would know not to pursue it, but just like he wouldn't be in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think you have to worry about it.
Like doing it too much?
I don't think that you have to worry about doing it too much to your husband if you're asking permission. So do I feel that way about anybody? I think so. I think like just have the open ears of, if something tells you back out, you might be like, did I actually hear that? You did. Believe it. Like if you ever get a sense of like, get the fuck out of here, get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
I wonder if that happens in people's own chakra. Like if I'm like meditating.
And you go in your own chakra and it's like, get out of here, Susan.
Yeah.
That would be weird. That would be fun.
Although there is like something to that though, for as many crazy things as I've experienced in the past year. You know, I just did a meditation right before this call because I felt like I've been slacking. I was like, let me squeeze one in. and it was just like, I know you say that there's no duds, but I was just like, okay, well.
It was
nothing.
A dud? You got nothing?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I just was like, I just like trailed off and started thinking.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started watching my thoughts, and then I was like, well, this isn't.
I consider that a meditation. Nope. See, I consider that a meditation because you carved out a few minutes of time to just sit and be present to right now and go in. And whether it was that you just watched your thoughts or drifted, you weren't sitting there like making a list of shit you need to get done later. Or, you know?
That's true. Oh, you know what's crazy though? That's one thing I wanted to talk about, like the differentiation between what I consider to be meditating and what a lot of other people consider to be meditating is just that. Like a lot of people, that's a successful meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting your thoughts come and letting them float away. And I think that's like so funny because if that were the way that what I was attempting to achieve in meditation, I would be like, fuck meditating.
Like, but that's what a lot of meditation is
unfruitful.
Isn't. It creates so much space. It creates so much space in you to be able to, like, I used to do once a week, have a silent meditation for an hour at the studio.
Yeah, and you've mentioned that.
I have?
Yeah.
Oh, it was really hard sitting in silence for an hour.
Yeah. And
not following your thoughts and working really hard to not. It's exhausting. And then afterwards, it just feels like there's so much space in your brain. Space in the brain.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
See, I wouldn't notice if felt like I had any space because when I have a meditation like that, I'm just like, I didn't have any interactions with other dimensions, so I'm bored.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different...
so funny.
It's to create a different experience, though. Yeah. You want to be doing, whereas the other kind is to not be doing, is to be undoing.
Right. Although in the daily practice of trying to observe the power of now,
yes,
I do think that there's a lot of undoing happening.
Yeah. But being in the power of the now, that's what you were doing when you were meditating. You're like, it was a dud. It's like, no, you just didn't go into space. It wasn't a dud. It's never a dud.
I know. That's the funny thing. Yeah, and I do feel like it was relaxing. I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but receiving is still not my thing. But I think that learning how to accept the present moment is almost like my form of receiving that works for me at this stage.
Word. It's a really good one.
Yeah. I will carry this with me. Have you had any weird psychic stuff happen?
Oh, no. Maybe. But my yes was I have been doing, so the self-healing journey of the Mooney has been interesting. It's getting much stronger. So you and I had talked on the phone. So, in the crying episode where I hadn't fallen for 2 weeks, I then immediately, of course, started constantly falling within 3 days of that, which was hysterical. But what came with it though, and I, when we were on the phone, I was like, do you think that this is what this is? Because I do. And you agreed. So my legs have been tremoring so much from hip to foot.
Hip to nip. Oh.
The other way. Hip to toe. And it's wild. And it happens when I put pressure on it in certain ways. And so I actually think that the work that I'm doing is actually waking up pathways. And
for sure,
that's what all of that is, which is, it's like I push myself up to stand and it starts freaking out. So of course I fall.
Yeah.
So I have since begun to figure out how to wait until the tremor is over, or to adjust slightly so that I can hold myself up until it calms down. But anyway, so I'm not falling as much. But the other thing was that I had started putting yin in. And
can you please explain what yin is again?
Yin is, in traditional Chinese medicine, yin yang. Yang is the active, yin is the passive, yang is the heat, yin is the cooling, yang is drying, yin is nurturing, or nourishing, and nurturing, I think probably. But so because of inflammation, you want to add yin to help cool it all down. And so I was adding yin energy. And I also have been working on cleaning out my hip of what looks like calcification. And then using yin, I almost think of it as like a yin oil to soften and moisten all of the bones and all of the fascia and muscles and connective tissue that's up in there. And it looks very, very clear. It still feels fucked up, but when I go in, it actually looks it doesn't look like it used to look.
That's cool.
And then I feel a lot of movement and sensation that I hadn't felt before. But then also what's crazy is that the past few days, I have been dreaming so much. Two things. One, of walking, where I'm carrying my wheelchair with me just in case I need it. I went to Lula in my dream, but I was with my wheelchair. I was just sort of dragging it behind me. So
to make it harder on yourself.
Yeah, I was like, just in case I need it. Maybe I have to sit down. Maybe I'll get tired. Whatever. Here it is.
Yeah.
And then also though, I've been dreaming of snakes lately, and that's
my goodness,
very dope as far as a symbol of transformation goes.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I feel great about my things. Another one is that I haven't been, or I'll start with doing my normal, creating the hologram of me, but it's really quickly I actually get in zone and then go straight into my body and start doing things. And it doesn't feel like me, but it is me. But then what happens is, you know how when you get a session, like on the table, for a massage,
Yeah.
acupuncture, whatever, you go into that like zone of deep relaxation.
Yeah.
So that happens to me, which is cool, except I don't know how to be the doer and relax.
Oh, yeah.
And so that pops me out. But it doesn't matter because it feels very beneficial for those couple minutes that I am like in that both place.
Yeah.
There's my news.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really crazy. Well, that is totally amazing. And I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're going to be dragging your chair around just
Going
in case.
Straight to Lula.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, they should sponsor us. Okay,
What?
bye, Claire.
Bye, Suki.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's weird conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving us a review to help others discover our podcast and join our club.